Yeah, Marty St. Louis is like 5'7", 5'8", around that.
And the Rangers get possession. Dominic Moore in front, they score! Marty St. Louis!
Marty St. Louis. Just like except for Nash, is like the midget line.
Shot, redirected, score! Game 7, Martin St. Louis! We are going back to Tampa Bay! Don't want no short people. Don't need money, don't take fame. In comes Tavares. Walks in, re-scores! Tavares again!
The New York Islanders, just look at them. They could make the playoffs easily.
John Tavares and the Islanders lead!
John Tavares is looking like a promising superstar in the NHL. I'd say he's top 3, one of the best players in the NHL. New York Islanders. Do I think they're going to win a cup? Absolutely not. No question they're not going to. But who am I? I'm just a Irish kid who plays bagpipes.
Just when you think they're about to break apart,
Ducks fly together.
And when the wind blows hard and the sky is black,
Ducks fly together.
And when the roosters are crowing and the cows are spinning circles in the pasture?
Awesome save! Lundqvist from Savard! Back in there, he scores! Ovechkin scores! They're number 50! Spinorama scores! Patrick Kane! Wide shoot scores! He scores! Mark Stahl on the power play!
Welcome to the greatest hockey experience you will hear on a Monday. I am Patrick McCormack, Iona College Center Ice. We have a very exciting show. Well, not really, but I'm here and you can listen to my voice, so what else would you really want? We are probably going to talk about, well, I want to open up with an interesting segment, just starting off. Before I start the show, I just want to send my condolences to Pat Quinn, legendary NHL coach, recently passed away at age 71. I'm sure any Maple Leafs fan would really, or any Canadian would really appreciate what he really did for the sport of hockey, and any hockey fans alike. You really don't like to see that happening at all. It was a very unfortunate set of events. So, the hockey world is with you. Also, the hockey world is with Gordie Howe. Recently suffering a stroke, is kind of struggling. So, everyone's prayers are with you. And we all hope that Mr. Hockey, gets back on his feet and is able to be okay again, because, nobody wants to see a hockey legend, pass away like that. So on to more interesting news. I checked the power rankings. Just gave them a scroll, and guess who I saw on the pinnacle? Guess who I saw on the pinnacle of the NHL? The New York Islanders are the number 1 team this week, according to the NHL Hockey News Power Rankings. Now you may say, why? What? See, in my opinion, when I see some of the power rankings, I do think they're a little biased, but not towards teams that deserve it. More towards the Blackhawks and the Penguins. They really don't pay attention to the teams that really do really well during the week. And honestly, I could say that the Islanders absolutely deserve to be number 1 in the rankings according to the NHL. I mean, look, you have Kyle Okposo and John Tavares are really bringing their game. They're pretty much producing at a point per game level. Brock Nelson is also playing fantastic, scoring 10 goals with 19 points. He honestly has been playing lights out hockey, and I think any Islander fan will be really happy about that. Also, my throat, Jesus. Also, put in the factor that they sweep the Penguins at the home and home, beat them in the shootout in Pittsburgh, and then beat them 4-1 at the Nassau Coliseum. And honestly, I don't really know what else you would want when it comes to being an Islander fan. I mean, when you have the Pittsburgh Penguins, who, ever since really 2008, have really been the dominant force in the Atlantic and now the Metropolitan Division. And then usually the followers of that right behind them are the Rangers and Flyers. Used to be the Devils, but not anymore. The Devils are kind of on decline. So, I mean, it's nice to see, even as a Ranger fan, it's nice to see, like a change in pace of, these new teams coming in and really putting their place in the NHL. This year you have the Islanders. Last year, you can even make a case that the Columbus Blue Jackets were an entertaining team to watch. They made the playoffs, and it was a first round, exit, but but they really stuck it to the Penguins. Really gave them a run for their money. So I love watching teams overachieve. Absolutely. I don't really know what else you would really want, especially if you're an Islander fan. It's the last season of the Coliseum. You wanna leave with a bang before you go to the Barclays Center. As bad as the Islanders are now, there was a point when they were the dynasty-winning team that boasts the talents of Brian Trottier and Mike Bossy, Clark Gillies, like all these Islanders legends that really give the Islanders a lot of history, in the 42 years that they've been on the island. So I love seeing the fact that the Islanders are doing well. I hope they continue to do well. I think that I know it's a little far-fetched. It's early in the season. I can't even say the same thing for my Rangers. But if both teams, the Islanders and the Rangers, make the playoffs, who's to know that we can see a Ranger Islander playoff series, the first one since 1994. I'd be absolutely ecstatic to see something like that. That'd be fantastic. So, interesting news. And also, I want to get to this. I know I always talk about Connor McDavid. The next huge player in the most anticipated draft prospect since Sidney Crosby, and how dominant he is when he plays hockey. We shouldn't forget about Jack Eichel. For any of you who are curious, Jack Eichel is an American-born player. Plays at the University of Boston University. And I do remember, last year during the World Junior Championships, he played fantastic. So I really think, people say Connor McDavid. Yeah, Connor McDavid, honestly, I think he's going to go number one. I think it would be silly if you didn't. But Jack Eichel, I think that the team who takes him second overall is making a fantastic decision. I mean, look at it. He has, 19 points in 10 games. That leads the NCAA. They usually play 50 games, or more than 50 games. But if so, he's on point for 80 points, maybe even 100. And I think that you look at his explosiveness, you look at how he plays, how he carries the puck, and everything. I think even taking him second overall, maybe even first overall, I think it's a win-win with both. I think with Connor McDavid, you win the hockey smarts and the maturity that was very similar to a Sidney Crosby, or a dominance that's almost like a Wayne Gretzky or even John Tavares. Maybe even look at Eric Lindros or Mario Lemieux when they played in the juniors. So, I think with Jack Eichel also, the NCAA is a very physical. It's a more physical league. I think there's more grittiness. There's more hard work put into the NCAA than there is in the junior leagues. Where I think the Canadian junior leagues are more skill oriented, where there are a lot of good skilled players. I think that a lot of the time the NCAA has a lot of the hard workers, but also the flashy scores. You can see flashy scores in the in the NCAA Division I men's hockey team too. And you even look at the power rankings. See, this is the thing with ball. I feel like this is always a case of BU. You know, the last time they won a national national championship was 2009. And then they were kind of in the cellar of the still ranked, still a good team, but really weren't a powerhouse that they used to be. I mean, you look at it now; they're 8-1-1. Ranked number 1 so far. And then right behind them is North Dakota, Minnesota, Massachusetts, Lowell, and then Miami, Ohio. Those are the top 5 hockey teams. And then you look where Boston College is, and they're 7-5. Remember last year, they had Johnny Gaudreau, Kevin Hayes, all these really standout players. We all know Johnny Gaudreau is on the Calgary Flames now. He's making a very big name for himself. And you have Kevin Hayes, who's a very good role player with the New York Rangers. But it seems that now, Boston University has a little bit of skill on their side. And I think Jack Eichel being on that team does not help their chances of playing extremely good hockey. So I think that as a whole, I think BU is very lucky, because I remember in 2009 they had the superstar Matt Gilroy, who's not really a big name in the NHL anymore, even though he had a few good years with the New York Rangers. But college and NHL is obviously different. But that year he was on the team. They played Miami, Ohio. Scored 2 goals in the last minute and a half to force the game to overtime in the national championship, and then they scored in overtime and won. Actually, technically, still one of the greatest hockey games I've ever watched on TV or any other program. But I think it's just interesting to think about. Who would you take, if anyone is watching? Who would you take with the first overall pick? Say it's Buffalo, because Buffalo's looking pretty putrid right now. Say you have the opportunity to get a first round draft pick, really excel with the future of your hockey team. Would you rather take Connor McDavid or Jack Eichel? Both pretty much the same age. Connor McDavid is 17 or 18, and Jack Eichel is entering his freshman year at Boston University. I just think it's an interesting take. I think both offer something to the table. You look a lot of Jack Eichel's big goals during the year, and they're beautiful highlight reel goals. The same thing with Connor McDavid. He knows where to find the open man. He knows how to exploit open ice in order to get a play done. So I really think that both offer a lot to an NHL team that can really help them succeed in any fashion. And then moving on to this topic, the Edmonton Oilers are playing awful again. I think that there was a point when we saw the Edmonton Oilers play bad in the beginning of the season, and then they picked it right back up and started playing fantastic hockey. And then people said maybe this isn't the New York the old Edmonton Oilers that we've seen the past decade. They have Benoit Pouliot, Jordan Eberle, Taylor Hall, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, all these greatly skilled players, and now they're losing 7 straight again. At this point, you have to say, what other options do you have if you're the Edmonton Oilers? What are you going to accomplish if you're going to continue to lose, especially with all these fantastic, skilled players on your team? And I read an article recently that said that the possibility of trading Nail Yakupov, the former 2013 first overall pick, that's it's hard to say what's the right decision here, because you look at his skill set. You looked at what he did in juniors with the Sarnia Sting in the OHL, the World Junior Championships. Even you look at videos of him practicing, and his skills just off the charts. Whether it's from his stick handling to his shooting, honestly, the kid has the whole package. But if you look at his possession numbers, he starts 40% of the face-offs that are in his offensive zone, and the way he has the puck and the way his possession is just not good, and he is on pace for 28 points, which is the lowest, if not lower, than his rookie year. And anyone can see this and say, the development, or the possibility of development in his game is just not going to happen. It's just not good. It's not how you want to start a season. That's not how you want to start anyone's career. Nail Yakupov, if you trade him, because recently the Oilers, management said that they're willing to trade anyone except, out of the core, outside of the core, which is, Taylor Hall, Jordan Eberle, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Anyone except for them is trade bait. And I think that Nail Yakupov, is still at a young age. He's not a 28-year-old, 29-year-old bust yet. Although he has the makings of looking like a bust. But he still has enough time to recreate his game and really be a good player with a certain team. Maybe not a superstar, but definitely be a role player to win those games. Look at Nino Niederreiter, draft pick in the New York Islanders. Did not really make a huge impact all around. The Islanders traded him to the Minnesota Wild, and now he's a huge part of that team. So maybe that's what the Oilers need. I'm sure any team would be happy to have him. So if you trade him for a very key piece to adding to your team, because you need a supporting cast with the Edmonton Oilers. You can't just stack it up with different superstars. This isn't an all-star team. It's hockey. You have to score goals, but it is a team game. So I think that adding continuous scores and superstars, this is not going to work. Trade Nail Yakupov, get back, a grinder, something to help add some depth to this team. I think picking up Leon Draisaitl this year was a fantastic idea. You add size, strength to your bottom line. He has tremendous scoring ability. What else would you want? He's only 19. So picking up players like that have specific roles on the team, and that can completely change your identity, change the look of your hockey team. And I think that's really what the Edmonton Oilers need right now, because they're clicking past almost 9 years without making a playoff appearance, and at that point you have to say, what can be done to really get this team out of the basement. And there's a recent thing where the Oilers fans and the Leafs fans were throwing jerseys on the ice, and people are saying how classy of that, how unclassy. Honestly, if you're especially if you're a Maple Leafs fan, you're paying the most expensive tickets in the NHL, over $250 to watch a game where your team is just getting embarrassed on the ice every night. You look at the game; they lost 9-2 to the Nashville Predators. That's just inexcusable. And credit to Nashville. Nashville's on fire lately. They've been playing fantastic hockey, but that gives you no excuse to just completely embarrass yourself on home ice in front of your continuous sellout crowd. Even the Edmonton Oilers, promising continuous success and improvement. That the tough times are here, but you're gonna get better in a few years. Well, then a few years go by and you're still just as bad, if not worse. So you don't know what else you can really stem from that. It's kind of, you're in a limbo where it's kind of like, all right, we could be good this year, we could be bad the next year. You have to continue to improve on your roster and play an all-around game. So, if it is time to trade Nail Yakupov, I really don't know. I think it would be the better decision of the Edmonton Oilers to do it. If they can improve, they can really work with Nail Yakupov and really make his game more steady. Then it's awesome. By all means, keep him. He might be a huge asset to your team. But if you can't, get another play for him. Get another role player. If anyone, that's the problem. If any other team really wants him. So that's something the Oilers would have to think about, and Yakupov himself if he wants to improve his game. Another interesting story. Another former first-round pick, 2006, Jack Johnson. Very good defenseman in the NHL, and we all know that he is a superstar athlete who really really has been fantastic for the Columbus Blue Jackets. But recently, an unfortunate story has happened with what has happened in his personal life. Correction, he's third overall in 2005, not first overall. But I'm sorry. So we had, I was reading the paper. It says Jack Johnson financial situation, and you'll never guess why. And it's a stupid answer things that pop up in your Facebook. So I just clicked on it. It took me straight to a legitimate hockey website. I was like, oh, it's cool. So I was like, I'll read it. So apparently, his 50. I can't. Let me look at it. It's something like insane amount of money. It's like $50 or $60 million. Everything he made, he's broke. He's absolutely broke. It said he went to the court office in his Mercedes, and filed for bankruptcy. And when I think that, I'm like, okay, this guy is definitely going to Vegas every break he's off. Or, he's gambling, blah, 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 blah. This guy's, doesn't deserve to make that much money. And then you look why he lost it, and you're like, oh, you feel kind of bad. So, it's the fact that, okay, so when he started his NHL career, he had a, you start off with, $850,000, your start off contract for 3 years. And when he signed his contract, he gave the rights to his contract. He gave control of the contract to his mother. So his mother had control of his money. All of his parents did. So you look at maybe the 7-9 years whatever he's been in the NHL. Made over $60 million, and his parents took out loans, $2 million loans without even asking him, bought houses all over the country without his permission. It's completely using his money. And I heard that, I'm like, that's crazy. It's just insane that, your parents, the people you trust, take your money, and now he's at the point of bankruptcy. So, I don't even know what this guy can do. It's just it's to the point where it's not fair, because you look at all these horror stories where you look at Mike Tyson, how much money he spent. This NHL player Theo Fleury, who spent it all on cocaine, drugs, women, you name it. Where this guy, he just seemed he kind of got messed up at the wrong time. it's I'm trying to read an article right now, and it's just just how sneaky his parents were with it. It's kind of upsetting to hear about. Especially if he really puts his heart and soul into a game where he does deserve. You can deserve the money that you want to have. But for them to just take it away like that, it's kind of tough. And hopefully the situation with Johnson kind of figures itself out. He's going to court and everything. So if he gets his money back, awesome. Obviously I think he'll have to talk to his parents about it. There'll be an awkward Thanksgiving dinner, but it's not my problem. But for now we're gonna take a commercial break. We come back. We're gonna talk about the New York Rangers. Big one last night over the Montreal Canadiens. What's coming up? Interesting news about Slava Voinov and his altercations with his wife. So really, just stick with us, and we'll have a very interesting set of words to talk about. So stick with us.